Hello, welcome to the Sound of Science, the place where we deconstruct unscientific bogus and silly scams. Let's go get them. Hello, you wonderful critical thinkers. Thank you so much for watching. You know that I frequently make videos about the YouTuber and Christian apologist calling himself Topics of Religion. Why do I do that? First of all, because many of his videos are totally hilarious. Most of his videos are so silly that it simply is comedy gold, and I want to make entertaining videos for you. But the second reason is more serious. Topics of Religion says many things in his videos, for example about religion, atheism and science, that are simply not true, and sometimes even reprehensible, things that in my opinion need to be corrected. It is in the interest of the public that no misinformation and hate speech is spread on the internet, and I think it's up to the critical thinking part of humanity to expose people like Topics of Religion for the silly, untrue and awful things they say. Now, lately, one specific claim of Topics of Religion has caught my attention, and that is his claim that he went to college. So far, I've watched about 20 or 30 of his videos, and in no less than 4 of those videos he claims that he studied at college. And I don't believe him. In this video, I will explain why it is important that people are honest about having a college degree. Then I will explain why I think that Topics of Religion doesn't have one. And then in the third part of this video, I will phrase some questions for Topics of Religion, offering him the opportunity to prove me wrong. So, let's do this. So, why do I care if Topics of Religion tells the truth about his college education? Well, truth matters in general. That is what critical thinkers and people of science believe in. Truth. But when it comes to claims about degrees, the truth is important in a very specific way. Because there are millions of people out there who spend many years working very hard to earn their degrees. Faking a college degree is the intellectual version of spitting in the face of real college graduates and degrading their hard work and intellect. On top of that, millions of people work for universities and colleges, protecting the reputation of their academic institutions by providing the best possible quality of scientific education and research. That level of quality is their lifeline, and in a broader sense, the quality of scientific education and research is the lifeline of truth in any free society. Therefore, academic research, education and degrees are sacred. We should never tamper with them, for else we will lower their standard of quality and reliability and bring damage to the academic system that provides society with truth. So, faking a college degree is damaging to society. Therefore, most countries have laws prohibiting you from faking a college degree. Under certain conditions, for example in the process of a job application, it can be a criminal offense to fake a college degree. Now, for clarity, and I think this is very important, I'm not saying that Topics of Religion is lying about having a college degree. I'm only telling you that I do not believe his claim that he has one, and in the next part of the video I will explain to you why. I don't know Topics of Religion on a personal level. I just watched a bunch of his videos on YouTube, and all I know about him is what I see in those videos. And what I see in those videos is a man who displays behavior that looks incompatible with the intellectual level that is needed for college education. For example, he's not capable of making basic calculations.
But their channel is opened in 2010. That's a while. That's a while ago. 10 years ago?
He totally misunderstands the fundamental basics of how IQ scores work.
My intelligence level was 110. The average American person that takes the test gets between 70 and 90. That's average.
He doesn't know the meaning of all kinds of words, continuously leading to hilarious situations.
Where one person comes on and says, this is what a straw man theory is. I went in with a dictionary and said, this is what straw man theory is. They all just stopped talking. Straw man is when you're in a debate and you tear the other person down and belittle them and make them look like crap, which I do. I do straw man on occasion. I admit that I straw man sometimes. I straw man big time when it comes to trolls. I will straw man a troll. 100% straw man. But you're not using the word correctly. Could I offer you a binky, warm milk, and a tissue? Do you want your mommy to rub your belly? I mean, see, that type of thing. That's straw manning.
He doesn't understand anything about the Big Bang Theory, and he's even making up stories about how he corrected people on it.
It was the Big Bang Theory, and now they demolished that, and they're going with the expansion theory. Then there never was a Big Bang. Now they're saying, a few years ago, they came up with these red lights that are shooting through the universe. And those somehow are related to the expansion. The other guy that was talking about Big Bang, he was talking about the Big Bang, and when I corrected him and I said, you're not even close to the updated science, which have eliminated Big Bang. And then he says, it was hypothetical. Just admit you were wrong.
He even doesn't understand what a scientific theory is in general.
People say the theory is evidence. Well, not really. A theory is just accumulation of conjecture,
etc., etc. The list of things he doesn't understand goes on. And whenever he wants to demonstrate that he does know or understand something, he just reads random quotes from his screen without having any clue what source he's quoting from.
The Big Bang, the expansion, is thought to have begun with the Big Bang. So it is written on Google. I don't know what the source is. A rapid expansion from an extremely hot, dense state. Again, it's just an idea.
On top of that, his repeated college claims seem to change over time. They contradict each other and even seem to contradict reality, which I will address in just a moment. Apart from that, people with college degrees hardly ever mention that they've got a degree when nobody is asking for it. But Topics of Religion mentions his supposed college education in his videos all the time, without there being any reason for it. All of this behavior doesn't match in any way with someone who has the intellectual level of a college graduate. So, I don't believe his claim. I don't think he went to college. In one of my recent videos, I called him out and asked him to produce some tangible evidence to prove that he actually went to college. But he didn't respond to that. So it's time to put a bit more pressure on this. Therefore, in the final part of this video, we're going to watch some of the college claims that Topics of Religion has made. And based upon that, I'm going to ask him some questions. And if he indeed went to college, it should be very easy for him to answer my questions and prove that he indeed has a college degree. So here is his first college claim.
When I went to college and studied geology, they talked about the Big Bang. No mention of expansion, because that word didn't even come up in science until maybe 5-6 years ago.
So, the Topics of Religion mentions that he studied geology at college, and that they taught him the Big Bang Theory there. Two things go wrong here. First, the Big Bang has very little to do with geology. Geology deals with the physical history of planet Earth. The Big Bang deals with the origin of the universe. So typically, the Big Bang Theory would be taught at cosmology, astronomy, and physics programs, not at geology programs. But even more suspicious, the way he claimed that his professors explained the Big Bang Theory to him is basically impossible, because it shows a fundamental misunderstanding of the Big Bang Theory. No professor of any college would ever teach the Big Bang Theory like that, so that's a major red flag that undermines your college claim right off the bat. So my first question to you would be, can you show your diploma? Can you show the actual piece of paper that grants you your degree? Of course, blur your family name and address if they are on it, because this is the internet and I don't want you to spread private information that could cause you trouble. But other than that, please show us your diploma. Can you do that? And do you have any evidence that this geology program at your college indeed taught the Big Bang Theory? What was the name of the course? What study material did they use? And maybe you remember the name of the professor, because the story you told about how they taught you the Big Bang Theory is basically impossible. Okay, then there is this college claim.
I went to college, I went to university, I majored in geology.
So this is making things a bit more fuzzy. So did you go to college or university? They are different things, but you use the words as if they are the same, suggesting that you don't know the difference. And you say you majored in geology. It means you claim that you have a bachelor's degree from a dedicated geology major program. What is the official title or degree on your diploma? What is the name of the program? And in what year did you get your degree? What was the name of your thesis? And what was it about? Did you even write a thesis? If you actually went to college and have a major in geology, these questions should be very easy for you to answer. Okay, and then there is this college claim.
When I was studying geology was my major, and I said to my professors, my favorite one, and I would say to him,
Okay, so you remember you had a favorite professor at college. You even know what you asked them and what they answered. So, what was the name of that favorite professor? And what subject did he or she teach? And then, finally, there is this college claim. And this is the one where it really gets interesting.
And when I studied science at Southern Oregon University in Ashland, Oregon.
So, several things come to mind. First, you were looking to the right when you mentioned the name of the university. It almost looks as if you needed to check if you had that name right. And again, you're changing the words. First, you said you studied at college. Now it's university. You now say that you studied science, while earlier you claimed you studied geology. So what was it? And why do you change the words repeatedly? And then my final question is this. You claim to have a major in geology from Southern Oregon University in Ashland, Oregon. I have tried to find that geology major at SOU, but as it seems, they currently don't offer any major in geology. But maybe they had one in the past. Now you seem to be about 50 years old, give or take. If you studied in your younger years, I guess that must have been about 25 to 30 years ago. So normally that would mean starting your study in the mid-90s and finishing it around the year 2000. Well, ChatGPT claims that SOU hasn't had a dedicated major in geology since 1978. According to ChatGPT, the geology major at SOU was discontinued 47 years ago. So, what am I missing here? Is ChatGPT wrong? Could be. So can you provide some kind of evidence that this major in geology at SOU exists or existed, and if so, when? So, that was it. That is my challenge to you, topics of religion. You publicly and repeatedly claimed that you went to college or university, where you studied geology or science, and where they somehow taught you a non-existing version of the Big Bang Theory. But you show all kinds of behavior that matches with someone who did not go to college. Therefore, I still don't believe your claim that you went to college. I hope you can prove me wrong and demonstrate that you indeed have a college degree. That would be a much better outcome than you lying about it all the time. And you wouldn't want that yourself, would you? Because in about every video you upload to YouTube, hundreds of them, you claim that other people are lying. Over and over and over again. You say that the whole point of your YouTube channel is to expose lies of other people. So from that perspective, it would be pretty disastrous for you if it turns out that you are lying about going to college. So let's hope that that is not the case. And if you indeed went to college, it's going to be a piece of cake for you to answer my questions. And I hope you will do just that. Thanks in advance for taking time. That was it for today. Thanks for watching.